Hello dear sapphires, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to look at being righteous versus being right. There's a big difference between being righteous and being right. Sometimes doing the wrong thing can actually be very, very right. Righteousness is loud. It wants to prove, to correct, to show others our version of truth. Being right, though, that's quieter. It's about walking in truth and reality and not forcing our righteousness upon others. And the funny thing is, righteousness often hides behind good intentions. It looks like kindness, but it's conditional. So today I want to talk about the difference, about what happens when we let go of being righteous and instead just do what's right in the moment. We've all seen it, haven't we? Someone walks past a homeless person and says, "You know, there's a shelter you could go to," or "If you just got a job, you wouldn't have to live like this." And it's said with a tone that sounds helpful. Oh, mind you, that didn't sound helpful. Maybe I'll read that again. "If you just got a job, you wouldn't have to live like this." And it's said with a tone that sounds helpful, but really it's more about making ourselves feel better. Because it's uncomfortable to see suffering, it reminds us that the world can fall apart and that we can fall apart. So instead of sitting with that discomfort, we try to fix them by offering options that don't resonate on any level with them at all. The truth is, we don't know why a person is homeless or why they have an addiction or even several addictions. Maybe they've had a tragedy after tragedy. Maybe they're struggling with trauma or grief or mental health issues, or all of the above. We just judge them and carry on with our lives. And here's the thing, addiction doesn't discriminate. There are addicts in every suburb, every class, every tax bracket. Some are functioning, they show up to work, wear a suit and pay their bills, and others are broken and lost, and they're on the street. But it's all pain, no matter which side of the scale you're looking at, it's still pain. The difference is we see the poor ones. The rich ones hide it behind polished doors, and we judge the ones we see because it lets us forget the pain that lives closer to home. I had a moment like that recently. A woman came up to me and asked me for a ciggy, and my first reaction was, "Oh, hell no," and I told her I couldn't afford to give them away. But as she walked away, Spirit nudged me. So when she came back past again, and she didn't ask me this time, I got out of my car and I went to her and I gave her a ciggy. She looked at me like I'd given her gold. Mind you, the price of them, I think they even cost more than gold. Anyway, that's another video. I apologised for saying no the first time and gave her a second one and a big cuddle. She smiled with her whole face, that kind of joy that comes from being seen. In that moment I realised sometimes doing what looks like the wrong thing to do can actually be very, very right. It's not about following a rule book, it's about following your soul's compass. Being righteous says, I'm helping you the proper way. Being right says, I'm helping you have a slightly better day in the way that you appreciate. Righteousness often comes from fear. Fear of getting it wrong, of being judged, of appearing not good enough. But being right, being truly right, comes from a place of love and compassion. And love doesn't need to be seen or praised or proven. It just is. You know, people love to talk about what's moral, but sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to simply understand and be kind. Understand that every person's story is sacred. Understand that your role isn't to fix them, it's to love them through it. And if that love looks like a meal, a cigarette, a few bucks, a hug, or a listening ear, then that's plenty, and it's more than they would ever expect. You've just restored a little piece of humanity. Because being righteous, that's easy. You just follow the script. But being right for another person's situation, though, well, that can take a bit of doing. It takes humility to say, maybe my version of right isn't right for everyone. Sometimes it's sharing a soft heart in a hard world. So next time you pass someone who's struggling, whether it's a stranger on the street or someone in your own home, stop trying to fix their life. Just fix their moment in a way that makes them happy, because that's where healing begins. Righteousness preaches, compassion listens, and kindness transforms a crappy day into an awesome day. And last but not least, there is being self-righteous. There's a fine line between being righteous and being self-righteous. Righteousness is guided by integrity and rules, and self-righteousness often comes from the ego, from wanting to be seen as good or better than others. It's a subtle but still a powerful trap. And on the opposite side of that pendulum, self-righteousness can also come from a place of desperation, desperately wanting to belong and to be liked and accepted so much that they think if they bellow loudly enough about being a righteous person, then maybe someone around them will believe it and welcome them in. So just to round off today, in my humble opinion, when we preach rather than reach out, we lose the very light that we're trying to share. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Agree or disagree with me? I'd love to know your take on it all. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded streets. Okay, I'll be off now then. Have a fab rest of your day. Lots of love, and bye for now.